Joining us now, Arizona Sheriff Mark Lamb with the Protect America Now Advisory Committee. Okay, this is happening. Texas is releasing new video showing massive manpower being deployed at the border in the same region where the Del Rio Bridge, the new caravans were crossing. We're showing now the footage, the aerial footage of the deployment just now beginning. They're moving in. What do you say to this?
Oh, I love it. I think that's what we have to do to protect our communities. Clearly, the federal government has failed this country. They've failed those communities along the border. They've failed the Southwest states, which inevitably becomes an America problem. So I'm glad to see that Texas is doing it and anxious to see what we're going to do here in Arizona to do the same thing to protect our communities.
Why isn't the president telling the migrants to go back?
Because honestly, Liz, they want this problem. They told us last year they wanted to reinvent America, and now they want to build back better. That should have told us everything we needed to know, that they were going to have to undo what we love as America. And now we're seeing it. And the border is a perfect example of one of those areas where they're creating chaos for us in our communities.
The GOP Senate Whip John Thune is asking, how could President Biden find time to go to Scotland for a UN climate change junket, but he can't find time to go to the border crisis that he created? You know, people are saying they're trying to be humanitarian. They're trying to allow people to come and, claim refugee status. But the law said you can't claim economic asylum. Right? And that's the issue. Now we're hearing they're going to try to claim that they're climate change asylees. What do you say to that?
I think that's dumb. Look, the climate change, this isn't a reason to come to this country. This isn't a reason to let people in. I've lived in some of these places in South America and the Caribbean, and they're beautiful places. I doubt that the climate is their issue. Their issue is the fact that our government has spoken out their mouth that we have open borders, and now we have everybody showing up to come take advantage of the American way of life.
It's against the law to cross a border illegally. That's the issue. And Texas is deploying the manpower that Texas said worked last month when they stopped 15,000 migrants, mostly Haitians, from crossing. Are we going to see more stories of outrage of, what happened? Remember the phony whipping story of border authorities accused of that on horseback?
Oh, you'll probably see even more now, because now that the states are trying to handle this by themselves, the federal government will probably do everything they can to impugn them or make them look bad as they're trying to do their job. So, yeah, I would expect that America is going to see a lot more of this administration trying to downplay or even disparage the work that these folks in Texas and us in Arizona and the other border states are doing.
The U.S. was built on immigration, right? The country is pro-immigration. They're against law-breaking. They're against drug and human trafficking at the border. They're against migrants getting assaulted and raped on the way in. We have the Mexican Foreign Secretary, Marcelo Ebrard. He slammed the smugglers and during a press conference this week, accusing them of misleading the migrants into believing the U.S. would simply allow them to freely walk across. Are you hearing that too?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been saying all along, Liz, that this isn't about immigration. This is about human trafficking and drug trafficking in this country. I want people to come make a better life for themselves, and so do most law enforcement. We have a process for that. We're asking that those people follow that process and that our government protect the other way, which is where the cartels are pushing humans and drugs through, and they're abusing people on a daily basis, raping women, using as children as pawns, extorting men. And we as Americans should be appalled by that, and we should be clamoring for our government to take action on it.
At least reports indicate 147,000 undocumented migrants were registered in southern Mexico between January and August of this year. That's triple the amount versus the last year in the same period in 2020. So let's watch what Congressman Chip Roy had to say. Watch this.
We have parts of fences rusting in fields in Texas. We have Title 42 not being enforced. We have Americans being threatened to be fired from their job right now, fired from their job, while we're allowing people to come across our border with not so much as a COVID test. We have a president who refuses to enforce the migrant protection protocols, which President Trump allowed to work with Mexico. They're using asylum as the crux for all this, as the crutch. They're saying, hey, If you in this world want to come to the United States, you claim asylum, you can come in. Now he's creating, this president purposely is creating an entitled class of migrants who do not qualify for asylum under our laws.
That's the point. It's against the law. What's your
right.
reaction to what the congressman said?
Chip Roy's exactly right. You know, the hypocrisy that exists right now. Let's just hammer Americans, and then they're letting everybody else in on the south border. It's got to stop. That's why we're standing together as sheriffs. And thank you for mentioning it, protectamericanow.com, because we're going to do our job. That's what we committed to the people, despite the fact that the federal government is leaving us hanging.
Sheriff, your word on Mexico's role in this. How do you see Mexico here?
Well, Mexico's going to take the easy way out. President Trump held their feet to the fire, and they acted. That Stay in Mexico plan. They had people on the other side helping us. But as soon as the Biden administration opened this up, they're not going to do the hard work if they don't have to. Mexico's role is non-existent right now, but I wish they would get back to helping protect this border, because it's driving people through Mexico as long as they allow it as well.
All right, Sheriff Mark Lamb, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your service to our country. It's good to have you on.